Welcome to your Sterile Compounding and Aseptic Technique online lab lecture. In this short lecture, we will be discussing cleaning the horizontal laminar flow workbench. I will intermittently pause the video as I will have comments. First, before we begin, I wanted to explain why we clean the hood as often as we do, how frequently we clean the hood, what items do we clean the hood with, and what is the proper documentation. Alright, for starters, it is required that we clean the ante room and the clean room at the beginning of each shift. It's also required that we clean after each new batch of IV fluids we prepare. We're also required to clean if there's any kind of spill or if we have an aspiration. And we're also required to clean every 30 minutes with continuous use. Last but not least, we are required to clean once our shift is actually over. Now, I will be showing you the video. Please note that in this particular video, they are using regular 70% isopropyl alcohol. Often we abbreviate as IPA. What I'd like for you to take note of is that the proper technique according to USP 797 and our Texas State Board of Pharmacy law book is that we must clean our hoods first with sterile water. The reason why we use sterile water first is so that we can get rid of any type of residue. Secondly, once we have completed the process with cleaning with sterile water, we have to use sterile 70% IPA, isopropyl alcohol, to sanitize the workbench. In this video, you will take note that she will be using 6 wipes. These must be lint-free wipes, and if we actually have a sharps container located inside the hood, she would need 7 wipes. Upon observation of this video, it is mentioned that a person who's cleaning the hood should make sure that there is adequate fluid so that it is saturated below all of the wipes. Though that is true, oftentimes students saturate the wipes too much, and they're gonna have so much fluid that it doesn't allow to properly dry within the hood. It should only take 30 seconds for the amount of alcohol that you have left in your hood to completely dry. That way you can go on and move forward with compounding. If it takes longer than 30 seconds, that means you used too much.
This video will provide instruction for proper technique for cleaning the laminar airflow workbench. After garbing and scrubbing in, you can now begin cleaning. First, alcohol your gloves with sterile 70% isopropyl alcohol and allow them to dry completely before utilizing the laminar airflow workbench for compounding. Next, place 6 clean room wipes in the middle of the workbench. Note that we are utilizing 9-inch by 9-inch wipes to clean surfaces. Use 70% isopropyl alcohol to completely wet the wipes. Ensure that an adequate amount of alcohol is used to wet to the bottom of the stack. You can check this by picking up the wipes and seeing if there is alcohol remaining on the workbench surface. If the wipes are not adequately saturated, then add more alcohol to your stack of wipes. Also, if at any time in the process you notice that the wipes are no longer completely wet, alcohol can be added to them.
A comment that I would like to make, and a technique that I really prefer to use, is when I am pouring either my sterile water or my alcohol onto the wipes, I prefer the technique in which you pour directly into the center of the wipes. Pouring slowly, and I like to see the wipes starting to saturate and the circle will start to get larger and larger. Then I will make sure to get more of the other 3 corners and leaving the other section dry so that it's easier to pick up the wipes.
Now, grab one wipe and begin by cleaning the top of the laminar airflow workbench. You will do this by starting at the back closest to the HEPA filter and use a horizontal and overlapping motion until you get to the front. An overlapping motion will be used for all surfaces to ensure proper cleaning has been accomplished. You will want to wipe to the very edge of the surface. You will then start a dirty pile of wipes on the workbench surface in an area that is adequately distant from the clean wipes. Next, grab another wipe and clean the IV pole using a swiping motion in a single direction. Ensure that the entire IV pole is disinfected. Dispose of the wipe into the trash pile and grab another wipe. Use this wipe to clean the IV hooks on the pole.
A comment that I would like to make regarding the hooks, it's actually important because we only are using one wipe. It's important that when you start this process that all of the hooks be placed on one side of the hood as they have demonstrated in this video. Secondly, you want to make sure that you actually can clean them at the same time, or you can clean them individually as what's being demonstrated in this video.
Now, grab a wipe and begin cleaning one side of the laminar airflow workbench. This will be done by starting at the back closest to the HEPA filter and working in a vertical and overlapping manner out to the very edge of the front of the workbench. Discard the wipe into the trash pile and obtain another wipe to clean the other side of the workbench using the same method. Once again, start at the back closest to the HEPA filter. Use a vertical and overlapping motion to the very front edge of the workbench. Discard the wipe into the trash pile and pick up the remaining stack of wipes. These will be used to clean the surface of the workbench. Do so in a horizontal and overlapping motion, starting at the back near the HEPA filter and working outward toward the front of the bench. Upon reaching the trash pile, pick up the pile and remove the wipes so that this area can also be cleaned. Now, discard the wipes in a waste container and inspect the workbench to make sure that it stays wet with alcohol for at least 30 seconds for complete disinfection. Now that the top, poles, hooks, sides, and bottom of the workbench have been cleaned, it is now ready for compounding sterile preparations. This completes the laminar airflow workbench cleaning video.
I have no further comments with respect to cleaning the horizontal laminar airflow hood. If you have additional questions, please feel free to ask, as we will continue to clean the hood every day when we meet for lab, and I will ensure that you have the technique perfected.